Kiki, how are you?
Good. Well, you are so busy. I'm just flabbergasted.
I was trying to think the last time we talked. Wasn't it like I don't know if it's been a year, has it?
It has been a little bit over a year.
Over a year? Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing great, and you're doing fabulous. Thank you for asking. And you have a new grandbaby, and your life is just full. You're checking things off of the bucket list. You're still with Steve, which is amazing. I mean, how is everything going for you? QVC, Nutrisystem. I mean, how do you pull it all together, Marie?
Kiki, I'm just so blessed. I have been doing, my Christmas tour was just so wonderful. And, the audiences were just amazing, sold out. Just, I keep pinching myself and going, am I really the age that I'm at and I'm still working? And I just feel incredibly blessed. I've got some fun things I'm working on. Hopefully, keep fingers crossed, that I think will be fun. And yeah, you're right. I think the biggest thing for me, Kiki, and I believe we kind of spoke about it, is I need balance. I want balance. A little more play, a little more fun. Of course, I love what I do, and I love people, so I'm enjoying that.
Oh, yeah, and I literally, that was one of my things. It just seems like you are more balanced now because, before you're in Vegas, you're doing, what, five nights a week? And
right, for 11 years.
11 years.
And that, we had a real residency. That was it wasn't like, oh, I come in for 2 weeks and I go away for 2 months. No, this was every single night.
Yep. Again, I don't know how we were at.
And then in the summer, we would go on tour. So really, it was never a night off. And I think that's okay for some entertainers, and I love it, and I've done it my entire life. But now, like you said, now that I have grandkids, and I want to go to their games, and I want to see them sing in their school, plays, and it's so fun, Kiki. I love it.
But you know what, though? I have to, if I was one of the moms, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Marie Osmond's on the softball field right now. How
I love it. It's so fun.
I mean, do they come up to you and bug you? Or, I mean, I know, and you know what? I know I shouldn't say bug because you are so welcoming to everyone, but sometimes it has to be a little strange if you're eating a hot dog or,
Oh, people have always been so kind. And, I've worked with everybody, I swear, name a name. But the thing that I learned growing up is there were people that I would go out to restaurants with, and people would come over and ask for autographs, and they would say, "Excuse me, I'm at dinner," and it'd be rude. And I just think, look, if you can't be nice to people, then don't go to dinner. Order Uber Eats, right? Stay home.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to appreciate the people that made you who you are,
And I also think it's I do think it's from the generation you're from, because Gunnar and Matthew Nelson, same exact way. They said their dad Ricky was the exact same way. He would stop. If anybody stopped him wherever he was, he would always just be polite and talk to them. And I feel like you come from the same type of background. Your parents seem to be very, you had to be fan oriented because that's who put you there.
Yeah, there have been things written about my dad that I get kind of upset about, saying that he was this tough guy. Yeah, of course he was tough. He was a disciplinarian. He expected, excellence. If you say you're going to do something, then you're going to do it. But my dad was the most ethical, kind, a handshake. And those are the things that I learned as a child, that the most important thing that you can have is to protect your good name. And my dad drilled that into me. And so, if you're out, then be kind. And but you're right. I grew up with what I call the great entertainers. I was a child, but I worked with, Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. He taught me how to walk on a stage, and, Lucille Ball, and even to the next generation, people, like Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind and Fire, and, name them. I swear to you, it was crazy, the people that I've been blessed to work with and continue to.
It is insane. I mean, literally, you have.
I mean, Tina Turner. You know, I mean, I was there when she performed with me when she was married to Ike, and you know, I should write a book, but I'm not going to.
You really not? Now, why wouldn't you though?
No. You know what? I believe in privacy. And do I have stories? Of course I have stories. I have a lot of stories, but I just think that it's not fair to talk about people when they can't defend themselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
I just don't think that's ethical. I don't think it's good, and I don't think it's fair. And I'm not that kind of person. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, like I'm more thinking the fun stuff, you know, just the fun stories that you must have, not even going to the other, you know, like the darker side. I'm talking about, you know, just the fun stuff, like, you know, being with Tina Turner and Lucille Ball. And, you know, there was one thing you told me a long time ago about what Lucille Ball taught you, and I don't know if it was makeup or something, but you just have the coolest things to talk about.
You know, she taught me something that was so unbelievable. Here I was, how old was I when I worked with her? I was 16.
Gosh.
And her makeup guy was actually my makeup person on the Donnie Marie show.
Okay.
And she did our show. She was with Ray Bolger, who was the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
And she was going to be the Tin Woman, and I was going to be Dorothy, and Ray Bolger was playing himself. Well, she came in 3 hours earlier than my call for makeup and hair.
Wow.
And I said to her, Lucy, my gosh, I could have somebody else do me. You could have had Fred do you. And she goes, no, this is your show, and I'm using your makeup artist, and so I need to come in before your call time.
Wow.
Lucille Ball. I mean, I was
respectful.
16.
But still, you know, she showed respect to you. And
Respectful. That's just how they were. There were no egos. Everybody just did their job, and it was just an amazing education that I had.
And going back to, you know, when Donnie and you being younger, Donnie once said that you always wanted it. And I'm guessing the it that he was referring to was being on stage and performing. Is that what he was talking about?
No, I would say that about him.
Really?
Yeah, because absolutely.
He said this about you.
No, I had a different situation than Donnie. Much different. I was the sole supporter of my children.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, we lost everything, and so I had to work. But what I did is I made sure that I enjoyed it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I always
found a way to have fun. I love the people around me, my crew, my band. If you're going to be on the road, then you better love the people you're with.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
And you know, you hit number one when you're 13 years old with the amazing Paper Roses. I read that you were very sick the day you went to Nashville with Sonny James.
I don't know if I was sick or I was nervous, but I threw up right before. But I'm like, I mean, I was 12 when I recorded that album.
Oh, okay.
And I walked into Nashville, and Sonny James, who, for people listening, he was like the name in country music. And he agreed to be my producer. And so I was really nervous about that. Of course, you know, my brothers were successful, and then I had that pressure on me. But I walked in, and they put me, and they said, these are your background singers. And it was Jordan Ayers who did all the backgrounds for Elvis. Oh. And there were probably 60-some-odd people in the room because we recorded everything live back then.
Wow.
And I remember sitting there and going, I'll be right back. And I went into the bathroom and threw up. And I came back and said, okay, I'm ready.
And you know, you're 12. You know, any typical 12-year-old teenage girl is going to be like, I can't do it. I got to go home, you know. But you just, you are a worker. And it seems like you just always were on that path to get it done.
You know, I just never wanted to waste anyone's time and be mediocre.
Yeah.
I just felt like if I was going to do something, I would try to do it the best I could. And if you fail, at least you know you tried your best.
Right.
And that's the other thing that my dad taught me, was that you get back up. It's not about winning. It's about knowing that you get back up in the saddle and you keep trying. And that's, to me, I think that's the greatest gift my dad gave me.
And you keep getting up. You're not falling, but you're still going, and you're doing it so well. Now the late
you're so kind. You're always so cute.
Well, but
you're a joy to talk to. You're very sweet.
Oh, but I love
no,
you,
Marie.
You are Kiki. I love you, Marie. And you know, just your past, like the late Andy Williams. My gosh, like he gave you guys your start, and there was such a sweet clip that it's played everywhere. But he said to you, you were 3, and he said, "Will you save me a dance on your 18th birthday?"
Yep.
Did you?
Yep. Absolutely. You know, the one thing with Andy that he did for me more than I think even my brothers is every time I received an award, like I got, best coiffed person, and I got I won't even say, but different awards, wonderful awards that I've had through my life. And he always flew in to be there with me.
Oh, did he really?
He did. He was so lovely.
Wow.
And, he introduced me as the youngest Osmond brother. And I was 3. I think I'm the youngest of the Osmonds. Jimmy might have been 3, too. But Donnie and I started the same year. He was 5, I was 3. Mm-hmm. But I remember I had the biggest crush on him as a little girl.
Did you really?
And oh yeah, oh my gosh, his voice, his face, he was just the cutest thing.
Yeah.
And here I am, 3 years old, and I get everything learned. They have this beautiful feather dress that Rhett Turner designed for me, who designed for me for years. Wow. After that. He's the one that gave Bob Mackie his first start.
Oh my gosh.
I'm wearing this feather dress, and I can't look in the guy's eyes because he's too cute. It was so funny.
I love that. And then, Donnie had said that being on that show, on the Andy Williams show, it was a great training ground for all of you. And what was the biggest lesson you got from Andy?
Well, my brothers worked his show more than I did. I did the Christmas shows and things like that. Mm-hmm. So to me, I was an observer. Yes, I performed. I did perform in Sweden, and I performed in Japan and all those places. And I was like, here's the sister. But honestly, I really didn't want to be in show business.
Oh, you really didn't?
No, I didn't, Kiki. I mean, I could sing and I could do all those things. Yeah. But it wasn't until I was about 10 years old. I'm a late starter. I mean, I performed and I sang. Yeah. But my life was a little different. There were things going on backstage that were awful and shouldn't have been going on while my parents were watching my brothers. And so because of that, I kind of didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden I realized that, and this is, it's not sad, I'm fine, but really I realized it was much safer on stage. And that was kind of a catalyst for me. And I didn't want to sing pop. I loved country music. And it was one of those things where I've always kind of been a person that prayed to God, even as a little girl, and was like, God, what should I do? Yeah. And it was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, then I want to do it with all my heart. And so that's kind of how I'm a little different than my brothers.
Well, that's a good thing. It's good. It's good, but
very grateful. God has been so good to me, mm-hmm. and I had the most brilliant mother. And even though I never let anybody know what was going on, I felt I had so much strength from her and her wisdom just in general. She was a brilliant mother.
And you were so close with her. And you guys, didn't you collect dolls together? And that's where your love of dolls came from, I'm guessing.
You're so cute. Yeah. Every place we went around the world, we would go and find a doll. I still have all of them.
Do you have all of them?
Some of them burned in my house fire, but I have a lot of them. Yeah. But, she was great, and she tried so hard to make our life as normal as possible, which was not possible. Right. But she did a really good job at keeping me grounded, and just understanding that life is life and work is a job. Right. That's not who you are. And I think that was the greatest thing my mom taught me.
And it totally shows, Marie, because like I said, you're just so gracious and you're so thankful for your fans. And you're
not when my estrogen patch wears off.
Oh, please, let's not talk about, well, I don't even want to talk about that because I'm there and I know that you talk about the over 50 things and I'm like, oh, honey, the things that have happened to my body, like I don't even know who I am half the time, but I know who I am today, so that's a good thing.
I have a magnet on my fridge that says, my estrogen patch just wore out and I have a credit card.
Oh, wouldn't that be? You should do auto pay, right? Oh, my gosh. Now, I have to talk about Tiger Beat because it's one of my favorite magazines on the planet. I have several copies and, I'm scouring through. Of course, you and Donnie were in every single magazine that I have. And did you know that you were on the Osmond family calendar was on page 90 of every single issue? Did you know that?
No.
Yes, it was always on page 90.
I remember the lady who was the head of that magazine. Her name was Nola Leone. And I remember her being over at our house a lot. She hung around my mom a lot.
Really?
But she was the editor-in-chief of that magazine.
Oh,
but I think she loved being at our house.
Who wouldn't?
It was fun.
Did you know like stuff that was going into the magazine? Were you familiar with what was going in there, or did you just somebody else ran it type of thing?
My mom was very much. I think she was ahead of her time. Honestly, she was doing social media before there was social media, Kiki. She started, the Osmond magazine, and she did newsletters once a month called Mother Osmond's Memos.
Really?
And she would write to the fans all over the world. I mean, I would come in from work late. She'd be on her little computer typing away, and I'd say, I think you love them more than me. And she says, get over it. And she'd shut the door. But she just loved these fans. So many people referred to her as Mother Osmond.
Oh.
And so she really watched over that. And I remember one time she sent out little vials of perfume to the millions of fans.
Stop.
And she wanted to do it cheaply, so she ordered it in like these gallon jugs with these little glass vials. And my brothers and I sat in this room for like 3 weeks filling up these little vials of perfume, and we just wanted to die at the end. We're like, Mother, really?
You probably can still smell it. But you know what? If anybody knew that you guys were actually touching those vials, oh my gosh, they would have been out of their minds.
Yeah, but to answer your question, no, because I was working, we had, 2.5 days to memorize 350 pages of script.
Don't know how you did that.
And that was all the dance routines and comedy sketches and costume fittings. And then on top of that, I was going to school. And so I really didn't have much time. I mean, I worked 18-hour days if you included school. So it was just, I really didn't have much time to do anything but learn what I had to learn.
Now, on the Donnie and Marie show, was any of that ad-libbed? Donnie said a lot of it was ad-libbed, and I'm going, how? But you went by the script, he said, but you guys would just be off the cuff. How much of that is,
Well, one of the things, so Donnie's very exact. He's very precise. Mm-hmm. I am not. And I think he's funnier when I throw him off. And so I would always throw him off. So you'll see, and then he would, then he'd laugh, and then I'd laugh. And so those things where you see us losing it, we would do things like that, or things would hit us funny. And I think they enjoyed the spontaneity between us, and they kept a lot of those things in.
Because, just watching some of those old... I used to watch you guys all the time when I was a kid, but going back now and watching them, you did a lot during each show. There was a lot going on.
It was a lot. I look at the shows today, and I think about how old I was, and I go, I don't know if people do that,
Yeah, no.
I know that variety is dead, but it's not really, because you look at The Voice and you look at things like that, TV shows, and America's Got Talent. In a way, they're like variety shows.
Right. But it's so
where
different.
People sing and perform. But it's that kind of variety show with the ice skating routines and everything. I just don't think people can produce that anymore financially because everything costs so much now.
Oh my gosh. And the costumes you wore, holy moly.
Unbelievable.
How many of those do you still have?
Well, I have a few of them, but the ones that I really wanted, I was out touring, I came back and they had sold them.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And so I only have a few, but the ones I have are really good.
Oh.
I actually wore a black Bob Mackie that kind of angled the skirt, one high boot, low boot. And when we were in Vegas, I actually wore that again after I lost all my weight.
No way.
I fit back in it, yeah. And I wore it for like a year in Vegas.
Oh, that's so awesome. That must have been really
And I did it just because, it was fun to get back in it.
Okay.
And also they made clothes to last. It was just a beautiful, I still have that. It's a beautiful piece.
Honestly, clothes aren't made the way they used to be, and
no, not at all.
I do thrift. I do buy a lot of my clothes secondhand because just they don't even to be that much older, but some of the labels you can just tell quality, and a lot. Yeah,
there was quality back then, and you're like me. I love quality. I would rather have one really nice made piece than like 50, and there are trendy things that are fun to have, but anything that's like a staple, I like quality. But I also sew, and when I say Rhett Turner, Bob Mackie, Ray Aggion, that was the house that did all the variety shows. So when I would go into my fitting, you'd see all Carol Burnett's clothes, you'd see all Cher's clothes, and my clothes, and so it was fun to go into where they made them. That's where I learned to love sewing and beading and all those things. I watched these people, unbelievable seamstresses.
Oh, yeah, and there was actually...
Is this interesting? I don't even know if this is interesting.
Oh, no, it's beyond interesting. It's so it's so interesting. And as a matter of fact, in the August 1979 issue of Tiger Beat, you were talking about some of your super fall patterns for Butterick. Remember Butterick?
Oh my gosh, that's right. I did.
You did.
My mother, keeping me grounded. Yeah, I did patterns. I still have some of those. And I did patterns for my Barbie doll, my Marie doll.
Did you really?
Yeah, Butterick did patterns for them too.
Wow, Butterick. I felt like that was another thing that was just everywhere besides Tiger Beat. I mean, it was Butterick.
So I think I was like the first celebrity Barbie doll where they actually sculpted my face and body. I think there was one before me, but they used Barbie. And so I was like Donnie used Ken's body, so he doesn't count. And so, but they did sculpt me. And and then my mother said, well, let's do a sewing doll. Do you remember that one? The 12-inch, so it was not 12-inch, but the 24-inch sewing doll.
I don't remember that one.
So my dad said, Olive, this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard you come up with. And she told Mattel, she goes, no, I'm serious. I want to do this. I want to teach girls how to sew.
Oh, wow.
Only tiny sizes so they don't have to waste fabric and they can learn how to do it quickly. And my dad said, if that thing sells, I'll eat it. Well, it was such a big seller that, and they did a head where you do my hair too, but the doll that you had patterns and you sew with, Mattel made it in chocolate, so my dad had to eat it.
Oh my!
Pretty funny.
Do you still have that, the sewing doll?
I do. Yeah, I have one.
I have to see a picture of that because I don't remember. But that is, you know what? That would be cool now because
I think they called it modeling doll, Marie modeling. It's something like that. I can't remember.
Because literally, don't you think sewing is a lost art?
It is, and it's really fulfilling. But a lot of people don't have patience now. Everything is microwavable, disposable.
Yeah, true.
And and styles change so fast, and people don't want to do it. But I really love it. I make my granddaughter's dresses. I do crafts. You can watch my social. Like I just made them these headbands and shorts that are so cute.
From Mabel
and then
and
they
Maud,
can just wear a
right?
little white T-shirt with it or something. Just I love doing things where, like, I have a dress my mother made me that I've had all my granddaughters take pictures in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so fun.
So cute. Mabel and Maud, you just did that, right? On social media, you were making...
You're good. You're good.
I just can't. I'm like, you're picking out the pinks with the flowers, and I'm going, oh my, like, how freaking cute. I just...
It's so funny.
But, we have to talk about the guys of Tiger Beat because,
Who do you want to know about?
All right. I wanted, because Sean and Leaf, they were everywhere. They were on every single cover. So did you ever, date one of them?
Sean was a little bit younger than me, so no.
Okay.
And David, I saw him in a recording studio. I heard him coming down with his clogs. Remember, clogs were really popular.
Yes.
And he turned the corner. I was at a water fountain. That was before we had bottled water. And I was at the water fountain, and I heard him coming, and I thought, well, I'll just wait here because, I've heard that he wants to go out and whatever. And so I was waiting, and he came around the corner, and I went, no. I will never date a boy whose butt is smaller than mine. But he was so tiny.
But he was the it thing, Marie. Like, come on. He couldn't even walk anywhere without being mangled.
Oh, I know. Bless his heart. He was really sweet. He was very, very sweet to me.
Yeah, he seemed like a really cool guy.
But Leif and Sean, they were a little bit younger than me, so no, I didn't.
All right, I'm going to bring up Eric Estrada.
Yeah, I dated Eric.
Did you? You did?
Yeah, he did our show. I mean, we saw each other. Eric's sweet. He was very, very sweet, yeah.
Oh, and he was hot. Hello.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I couldn't find anything that you dated him, so that's good to know. So when I saw you last year, you weren't going to do the Christmas show anymore. And I was so sad because I love your Christmas show. I feel like that is the kickoff to the holiday season. But, thankfully I saw that you were doing it again. And what can we expect, though, because your Christmas show is amazing. And if anyone hasn't seen it, next year, if you're still doing it, you have to go see Marie's Christmas show. But what can we expect from your show now, your current show?
So I decided to only do a few shows this year. Okay. I didn't do a lot. Mm-hmm. And I had Daniel Emmett do it with me. He recorded on my current album, Unexpected. He recorded the prayer with me. This guy, he was like on America's Got Talent. His voice, Simon Cowell said his voice is perfection. This kid is amazing.
I love Daniel.
And so the Christmas show this year was, I think, better than the year before.
Oh, wow.
And so I might do Christmas. I really love Christmas. I love making people feel the spirit, and I love people remembering happy times. And, I don't remember what I got 5 years ago, but I remember going to things with my family and friends. Those are the things I enjoy being a part of. The show that I'm doing, and I'm not doing a lot this year. This is going to be just a few. Mm-hmm. So come see it.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you'll walk out of there just having a great time.
Awesome.
It's going to be, I'm celebrating 6 decades of performing. You'll see a lot of video. We'll go through some timelines. We'll go through different hits through the decades. But I'm very interactive. You see that in my Christmas show. I love the audience. I have so much fun with them. And I just finished doing one last week, and the audience was so incredible. We had 6 standing ovations. I mean, people are just so awesome. And I think with COVID and all the stress that's been going on, don't you think that people just want to have a remembrance of happy times?
Yes, absolutely.
And new memories too. But I'm saying it was so fun. I had grandparents, parents, teenagers, and I had like 6 and 8-year-olds and 5-year-olds in the audience that were having a great time. And so, my audiences are very diverse, but I have something for everyone,
Well, you do give great shows, and you can't not walk out of your show without a smile on your face. And if somebody does, then shame on them, because your shows are just amazing and fun, and you are.
Well, then I didn't do a very good job if they're not smiling.
Well, everybody I've seen walking out of your shows is always smiling and happy, and we cannot wait to see you. You're a beautiful person, Marie, inside and out. I totally adore and love you, and am grateful for you always talking to me. I thank you so much. Like it's such an honor.
Oh, I did. And one thing that we're doing too when we come in there, and when are we going to be there? Is it February the 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, so one thing I'm doing, if you follow me on social, we are randomly picking people from our social to come in to sound check. It doesn't cost anything. I don't believe in that. And you can come watch the sound check, and then I'll do some question and answers. And people have really loved it, and we've been having a really great time. So make sure you sign up for that to see if you can get in.
And where do they sign up for that?
You can go to social, and we'll post it right before the date.
Oh, nice. And thank you so much, Marie. You are the absolute best, and we will see you very, very soon.
You're so sweet. Yes, absolutely. Are you going to be at the show?
Yes.
Okay, you better, because I want you backstage. I want to say hi to you.
Oh, thank you so much. We will be there, and we've been promoting the show, and
you're so sweet.
We will definitely be there, and I can't wait to say hi. And you look great, and I love you.
Oh, you're so. Hey, we'll talk more about Tiger Beat. I'll give you all the inside skinny.
Will you really?
Oh, sure.
Oh, good.